Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this webinar. And we are having some challenges with StreamYard today, so I do hope that you are able to hear me. And let's see what is happening that prevents us from being visible on the screen. So just be patient, and we'll find a solution. Thank you for being there, and happy to see that we have already quite a broad representation in the audience. And let's get ready, and let's hope that we are gonna solve this technical challenge soon, because okay, well, that's really strange, right? You're not able to see me, and I don't know. Ah, yes, you can see me. Okay, all right. So, okay, you can see me. Oh, then I am the only one that I cannot see myself. Okay, that's less of a problem. Okay, fantastic. Then if you are there, thank you very much. I don't need to see myself. I already look at myself in the mirror quite a lot. So, but happy to see that you are there, and that we have a broad group of people that is joining us. So. Uh, People that I just met yesterday, like Christina, people, new names that are joining this workshop for the first time. So thank you very much for being here. And I look forward to spend this time together on this webinar. Now, maybe thank you very much also for telling me where you're coming from. And indeed, we do have so many nationalities and people connecting from different countries in this workshop. Now, let me, if you have any specific expectation, right, then let me know. And then we will be happy to address those things, during this workshop. So just don't hesitate to use the chat. This is your webinar, and you are very welcome to ask question and to get as much as possible from this workshop, right? So, with that in mind, maybe I have seen that this webinar got quite a broad reach. So we have a lot of people that are not my first level connection that joined this workshop. So how about if I briefly introduce myself? But it looks that my video is frozen, right? And that you're not able to see me. Oh, what is doing today's StreamYard to us, right? Yes, it's me. And but okay, the voice is coming through. How about if my slides are coming through? Let me see if my slides are coming through. No, okay. The slides are coming through. Okay, if you're not able to see me, that's less of a problem. But at least you can hear me, and uh, and that's uh, and that's okay. Okay. We see you perfectly. I hear that we see you perfectly. Okay, fantastic. Then it's just a problem for myself. My apologies for the late start. As I was mentioning, few challenges with StreamYard. Thank you for the ones that joining live, and thank you also for the people that will be watching the replay of this webinar on influencing for career success. Now, since there are a number of people that are not my first level connection, let me say a few words about myself. My name is Giuseppe. I am Italian, as you quickly spotted from the accent. I am also Swiss since 2018. These are my three lovely daughters, Emma, Sara, and Luisa. And I'm a corporate person like you. I worked with leading multinationals in 5 different countries. And let's be honest, when I talk about influencing for career success, I will be mainly describing the dynamics in multinational companies, right? Probably if you're working in a very small company, the way of operating is different. If you're working in a multinational company, you may recognize a number of the things that I'm mentioning. And then in addition to my corporate activity, since 2005, I started teaching. 2005, University of Geneva, 2006, IMD and Bocconi, 2008, INSEAD and London Business School, 2009, Oxford. I'm currently teaching in 15 business schools. I left, by the way, the corporate world in 2018 and became a professor in 2019. And so what I'm doing workshop at business schools. I have open enrollment workshops. In particular, I have a master class with a colleague from Oxford, Owen Derbyshire, an amazing professor, and I have a small surprise for you. So stay tuned, because I have a special present for you coming up, which relates to Owen Derbyshire and the masterclass. I'm also doing a workshop in Asia in December for the people that are collecting from Asia. And I do workshop for corporate customers. That's what I do the most. And I also help my customer negotiate real life deals. Now, let's now move to the topic, right? And by the way, remember, the chat is yours, the interaction button are there. There is something that you agree, you disagree, etc. Don't hesitate, to shout a message, to put a quick comment to see whether you are in alignment, this resonates with you, or your experience is quite different. We are there to really make it a joint learning experience. Okay. Now, in order to talk about influencing for career success, I wanted to share with you 4 frameworks. 4 frameworks that can help you. And then, of course, we're going to stop to take your question, and I will be happy, to get more perspective from you on this topic. Now, let me start with the first question. Now, the idea is that we are going to take 3 perspectives: the self perspective, the team perspective, the company perspective, and then we will have an overall framework, the PI model, that somehow summarizes also some of the key messages. So let's start, when we talk about career success, let me start with 5 elements that may be relevant for yourself as an individual. And we start with study and understand what is valued in your company. And I'm going to make lots of real life example, and if there are colleagues or former colleagues, you may recognize or not some of these things, right? Study and understand what is valued in your company. Now, I'll start with a real life situation. When I joined Firmenich, one of the world leading company in the flavor and fragrances industry, one of the elements that I've seen from the very first day is that the company had organized a one day to introduce the newcomer. So there was a full day of presentation, activity, etc., to ensure that the people will feel well and that will get to meet different people inside the company. So, you can already start feeling from the first day that there was this strong focus on relationship. Now, I also noticed something else. When one of the presenters was talking about goal setting, she mentioned, well, for this one, we had a goal of 75% last year. Well, we reached the 70%, which is not bad. Now, in my previous culture at P&G, if you have a goal of 75%, then, you have to get 75% or more. While in the new culture, well, 70% versus 75 was still okay. Now, this is just a couple of examples about how you can start from the very beginning to understand how different things may be from one company to the other. Now, take time for yourself to build your agenda. Now, I'm not advocating that you should be lazy in your job. I'm just saying that if you want to have some time to build your career, to broaden your experience, to interact with people, you have to free up time. And you free up time is not by not doing your job, but you free up time by simplify things, by eliminate things that do not value, by delegate to people in your team that may be able to do the things as well as you. And this enables you to free up time for a new project, for an initiative, for a cross-functional team, for interacting with the colleagues inside the company. under-promise and over-deliver, right? This is a classical things in order to position yourself in companies, but be careful. Do not overdo it. I think, not being too optimistic and promising the moon and then not delivering, that's one thing. But if you say, well, I'm going to deliver 5 million of sales, and then you deliver 15, then you lose credibility. Then next time they're not going to trust you anymore when you say that 5 million is a realistic number. Be clear about who you want to become, right? Because whether your next career move is about moving to the global headquarters or having an experience in a country or moving to another function or get promoted, then of course being clear about this calls for different kind of attitude. And then you have to look good. Now, a number of people, when they hear the word look good, says, oh, but wow, that's not nice, that's not fair, etc. Now, people make decisions based on your appearance. Now, I'm not asking you to be the star and to be a model, whatever, but taking care of your appearance, having polished shoes, being able to have an attire which fits with the company culture, this kind of things are important. And by the way, to give you an idea about how people take care of appearance, let me share a quick study that was made in the US. They asked people, okay, these are two candidates. One is Republican, one is Republican, one is Democratic. But of course, they took away the tie or anything that would recognize one person from the other. They just asked, for which of those two persons would you vote? Just looking at the photo. And guess what? There was a 75% correlation between the people that people choose and the people that were elected. Let's look at the second framework. We're going to talk about the team perspective. And there is an overall attitude about getting people on your side, right? If you want to succeed in a company, you have to take care of the relationship. And by the way, it doesn't mean being sneaky. It may be about, being helpful, right? Provide value, making sure that you are connected, you're available when the people have a problem. Networking, right? Networking. Maybe I'll make the networking piece very personal, right? Because I am guilty of not having done enough networking for a good part of my career. What I mean is that, first part of my career I was just working. I didn't care about the networking. And then in 2005, my job was made redundant at Novartis. Wait a minute, I was every year in the top quartile of the performance. How come that my job is made redundant? Right. Now, and I had realized at that moment that I had focused so much on my work that I had not built a network. And this became a wake-up call to say, wait a minute, yes, I want to continue to do my great job, but I also make sure that I build an internal and external network. For instance, in 2006, I've been talking every year, COVID excluded, at an international conference. In 2007, I created a network of procurement executives in Switzerland. I'm still the chairman after 15 years, and this workshop works very well. And we have a number of very bright executives that meet and exchange on a regular basis. Another things that I did when I left Novartis, I created a newsletter. There was not those things like MailChimp and those kind of things at the time, but on a Friday evening, at the end of my work day, let's say 7 o'clock usually, I will be sending a message to my network, which is called It's Friday, and I will share a joke, a story, or whatever, something to connect with my former colleagues at P&G, at Novartis, or some of my former suppliers that I enjoyed working with, so that I will stay in touch with people. By the way, if you were in my It's Friday newsletter, that's a sign that I really liked you a lot. No, but the networking, of course, takes place also internally, right? So how about going for lunch with different colleagues, organizing a coffee from time to time with different people, or maybe joining a cross-functional initiative, or joining a women's network or whatever, that gives you the opportunity, to a sport activity that gives you the opportunity to network with other people. Increase the chance of your boss success. Too often we think about the boss as the enemy. No, your boss should be your ally. If you're able to do a job that promotes your job, but your boss, there is a good chance that as your boss succeed, she or he will take you with you. An important element of the career success is the choice of assignment and the job, the bosses that you work with, right? Because inevitably, if you work in a large company where there will be different type of opportunities, then you will end up saying, okay, what is my next move? Should I stay in my function or should I move in another function? Should I take this opportunity to make an international experience? Should I maybe take just a 3 months assignment in another country or whatever? So you will be making those choices, and you will end up working with different kind of bosses. And maybe you want to think, but if I choose this boss, will I enjoy working with you? Will I succeed? And will I grow? These are 3 questions that you want to ask yourself. Will I enjoy? Will I succeed? And will I grow? And this will help you understand whether you're making the right choice with the next assignment. And then a classical one, establish relationship with influential people. I think it's something that is in everybody's mind. And that's not what you want to do. Oh, I like the attitude of Andrea, right? By the way, if anyone wants to connect, let's network, right? Okay. Andrea, maybe you're acting as a stereotypical Italian extrovert kind of social person, but absolutely, why not connecting with Andrea? And that's a great understanding about how you apply the networking principle that we were talking. Okay, amazing. Let me take one more framework, and then we will stop for a moment. Recognize the importance of informal events. Now, I want to tell you a couple of stories. Now, the first, remember at Novartis, I was just focused on my job. And there was one tradition at Novartis. On Friday evening, the executives in the company will go to a pub, the Fisherman Pub, and they will go and have a drink. And this was a great way to network and to exchange with senior colleagues in an informal setting. Now, I have 3 children, as I mentioned to you. My children was small at the time, and I really wanted to be with them. Cook the meal, take them to bed, wash the teeth and brush the teeth and all those kind of things. So rather than going out for the drinks, I rather went home and spent the time with my daughters. But as a result, I never built those intimate connection with the senior executive. That's maybe one of the reasons why I was made redundant when there was a reorganization and a number of positions disappeared. I had not worked, this informal side of the connection. Now, I did a bit better in my following job, and I want to share what's happened. Well, a few months after I had joined, maybe a couple of months, the company was organized the community day. It was a day where you get an opportunity to help the NGOs that operate in the area. This was something close to my heart, so I volunteered to be part of one of the teams that was helping for that day one of the NGOs in our community. Well, at the end of this community day, there was a drink in the company, and the CEO of the company came along to shake hands and meet the people that had participated to the community day. As he walked around, then he focused particularly on the people that he never met. I was a procurement director at the time, and the CEO was not part of the selection process, and he was therefore meeting me for the first time. I says, hi, Giuseppe, you're the new procurement director. Nice to meet you. And we started to have a brief informal chat. And he asked me, okay, Giuseppe, what's your first impression, etc., etc. So, I shared with him a number of positive things. I also told him, listen, I want to tell you, Patrick, that coming from large multinational like Procter & Gamble and Novartis, I see that in our company, we do a few things a bit differently versus the way we do in the very large multinational, and maybe there is something that could be done a bit different. I said, well, Giuseppe, give me an example. What do you mean? Okay, let me give you an example. Well, the people at the help desk can access your computer without you having to give a request. I mean, that's maybe dangerous. Like you may have people that with not very good attitude, they may access the computer of senior executives. That looks like a dangerous attitude to me. I also said, in the same way that me as a newcomer, I'm noticing a number of things. Well, probably other newcomers are also noticing other things. But after a while, you get used to the way of doing things here, and then you just becomes normal. Now, if we collected the ideas from all the newcomers, we may maybe come up with a long list of ideas about things that we could use to improve the company. Okay, well, Giuseppe, okay, good, we chatted. Then, of course, he continued his turn and he went to meet other people. The following morning, I arrived at my desk. There was already a message on the voicemail. He was one of the members of the management committee. And the message says, hello, I'm Frederick. Giuseppe, Patrick mentioned to me your idea about collecting idea from all the newcomers to improve the process and practices of the company. I will be your management sponsor. Please call me back and let's get started. So, with a drink at an informal event, I was able, to establish a direct connection with the CEO and to work closely with one of the members of the management team. Second idea, understand what is valued in the company. Understanding the unwritten rules is another component of this, right? Understanding the unwritten rules because, yes, there may be things written on the walls, the value of the company, the things that all employees apply. But, the reality may be not so straight. What I mean is that maybe job titles do not match really the importance of people. Maybe between what people say and what people do, there is a gap. And how do you understand those unwritten rules? Well, if you're new into the company, asking questions, observing, maybe having somebody who has been around with the company for a long time and is a bit street smart that can give you those insights, it may be a way to understand more about some of the unwritten rules inside your company. And then let's talk about mentors and sponsors, which is, of course, one of the elements for your career success. Maybe let's clarify the difference between mentor and sponsor because often people confuse the two. What I mean is that a sponsor is somebody who talks about you. A mentor is somebody that talks to you. So the mentor helps you to do certain things. The sponsor is somebody which is 2 or 3 levels above you, who believes in you and is going to help you to grow your career. And of course, you want to have both of them. In fact, you may want to have different mentors. In my case, I tended to choose 3 mentors. One about the overall career, somebody that will give me an advice about whether it was a moment to change job, to change a company, to have a different type of experience, to start teaching at a business school or whatever. The second kind of mentor is for your function. my core expertise is procurement. So, somebody that was very senior and very good in procurement that will give me some guidance in those kind of things. The third is a mentor about the company, somebody that knows very well the company where you're operating and that can help you understand, who are the influential people, how you interact with things, how do you get to certain people, and in those kind of elements. Now, before I move to the next framework, I just want to pause for a moment because I promised to you at the beginning that by the way, let's just just a small comment here from Elena. Happy to connect with somebody that is there, just reached out. Great. Indeed, show off. Put your name. Tell us where you're connecting. Tell about your expectation. Put a small sign. Is also a way, to connect with other people that are there and that may be part of your things. Now, I promised you at the beginning that I had a surprise for you. So I just want to tell you one thing, right? We are talking about, some of the components of office politics and influence, but, this is only a small part of the influencing topic, because yes, we are taking a small slice, but there is much more about influencing that may be part of your learning journey. And by the way, this is only the theoretical part, but probably the way that it's really going to help you to become a better influencer is with real life exercises, with doing case studies, with watching yourself on video and getting feedback from people that can help you to become better, or even exchanging with other senior executives that can help you. Now, there is a place where you can do all this, and this is by joining the masterclass on influence and persuasion that we are doing on the 15th and 16th of June in Geneva. So, on the left side, you see 𝐵𝐻𝐸𝐺𝐸, professor at Oxford, and the academic director of the Oxford Program on Negotiation, one of the very best program in negotiation around the world. So, Owen and I will be there for the 2 days, and it's a small group kind of setting. It's not like at Harvard, 180 people in a room that you never ended up really connecting with people. You ended up being in a small setting with people that you get to know and establish a relationship with. The masterclass takes place at the Hilton Hotel, and it is just in front of Geneva Airport, a Geneva Airport train station. So you can walk to the hotel. From the hotel, you can walk from the train station, so very easy to reach. So if you're interested to really move your influencing skills to the next level, that's your opportunity, 15 and 16 of June. And, the price is 3,000 Swiss francs. 3,000 Swiss francs, 2 days of training plus a 2 years program made of 6 webinars per year, 1 video per month, 1 article per month, and a number of other things. Okay, you have 2 professors and 3,000 Swiss francs. Okay, that's the price. Now, there is a good news. We decided to launch the masterclass, and as a result, until the end of March, you can have the masterclass at only 1,800 Swiss francs. So, the price of a normal workshop that you will pay just by doing a basic workshop with a normal trainer, you ended up getting 2 days of trainer with 2 professors and a 2 years follow-up program to help you continue the learning journey to become a top influencer. Now, let me put in the chat the link, and if you're interested, then you can look for it. If you're not interested, but you just want to get another free bid, then next Friday, we are going to have another. Next Friday, we are going to have a LinkedIn Live with Owen Derbyshire. So let me check whether it's at 1 o'clock or at 2 o'clock. It's at 1 o'clock. So at 1 o'clock, you will have the opportunity to listen to Owen as we talk about psychology of influence and persuasion. So that's again another opportunity. So the masterclass is on Eventbrite, and as I say, you follow this link and you get 40% off on the normal price, only valid until the end of March. If listen, say, listen, Giuseppe, thank you very much, but I'm not really into this, it's not my priority, then maybe you just want to join our free event, then how about joining the next LinkedIn Live? You can sign up for free using this link. So both elements are on the chat. Now, by the way, I'm also interested to get your questions. So I'll stop with the promotional message, but I thought that the special launch activity that we are launching now was worth sharing it with you. Let me share one more framework. And in the meantime, you may come up with your own question about what you want to know about influencing for career success. And this framework says that your career success, what is going to get you to succeed in your work is going to be a combination of three elements. Now, the graph says 30, 30, 30. Maybe in some companies, 50, 20, 20. In another company, maybe 40, 40, 10, whatever. And let me tell you that 30% more or less of your success is going to be with your performance, your contribution, the results, the kind of impact that you have. If you are on sales, the kind of sales that you make, in marketing, the market share, the innovation that you bring if you work in IT or you work in R&D, the cost saving if you work in procurement, etc., etc. This is, okay, that's pretty straightforward. But another key component of your success is your image, your reputation, how you are perceived inside the company. Are you seen as leadership potential or just as an individual contributor? And the third component, exposure, visibility to executive management. I mean, do you have some sponsor? Do you have a role which has a strong impact on the business? Are you, the brand manager in a small country which has a small impact on the global sales? Or are you a manager that works very close to one of the C-level executives, right? Both titles of manager, but they do not have quite the same exposure. There is still a yellow box over there. And the yellow box is the luck. Sometimes, you also need a bit of luck to succeed in international organization, and that's one of the components. By the way, if you are connected with me on LinkedIn, by the way, if you're not, feel free to send me an invitation mentioning this event. Also because, I do those events on a very regular basis. I did one yesterday. I have the one with Owen next Friday. So if you want to continue to learn and exchange with me, then just send me an invitation mentioning this webinar. And what I want to say is that I made on Wednesday a poll. I made a poll on LinkedIn and asked people, in your opinion, what is more important, performance, image, or exposure? And the poll was very clear. 60% of the people mentioned that exposure was the number one. Your connection with people, your relationship with managers, with management was the number one factor. Second was performance at about 25%. Third was image at about 15%. So, Nicole says, so much for the ideal of a meritocracy. Yes, this is a kind of message that some people refuse to accept. Now, let's face it, I'm talking about multinational company. Now, when I'm thinking about my own small company, 𝐶ABL, then, I recruit people based indeed on performance and based on integrity, right? Okay, can I count on this person? Will I know that she or he will be able to do a fantastic job? And I am so lucky to have this kind of people with 𝐶ABL. In fact, I'm delighted with the team at 𝐶ABL. Having said that, when you're in a multinational company, maybe performance is not going to be the only criteria that will determine your success. Maybe, let me share a story to explain the spine model, and then I'm going to go for your question, right? And then, you will be able to ask me some question and we can go more in depth. Now, It was the beginning of my career. I was with Procter & Gamble at the European headquarters in Brussels. At the time, you see the kind of profile of the P&G people, motivated, ambitious. We wanted to all become C-level kind of executives, and we all thought that we were very bright and whatever. And by the way, I have to say, when I look back, that most of the people were brighter than me, and that's no doubt. I was really in the lower quartile at P&G. I had some amazing colleagues. Now, I was putting a lot of drive. I wanted to have an impact, and I was working until midnight, 2 or 3 days per week. And at the time, there were no laptops. So working until midnight was really staying in the office until midnight, driving 25 minutes to go back home, grab quickly something to eat the following morning, not later than 9 o'clock, in the office again. Now, this drive, this commitment was paying off. I had developed a new strategy that was giving really a competitive advantage to P&G. I was so proud of my work, I took my courage and I went to talk to the big boss to ask for a promotion from manager to senior manager. I remember my heart beating as I was knocking at the door of the big boss because, it was big, intimidating, with a deep voice, great negotiator, very much respected inside the company. I knocked at the door, I went in, and I made my request. I wanted to be promoted from manager to senior manager. And the big boss replied, "Hey, Giuseppe, how can I give you a promotion? I don't see much about what you're doing." Because, you should know that I was so much focused on the results that I was not spending time making presentation, writing nice report. What counted was really, delivering, the business result, my contribution. Now, when confronted with this comment from the big boss, then I had an idea and I told him, how about my new strategy that is delivering breakthrough results and really giving us a competitive advantage in the market? And he replied, well, the new strategy was developed by Kevin. Kevin, not the real name, to be honest. Kevin was my boss. So while I was doing the work, Kevin was building his image and exposure, was preparing for his own promotion and selling my strategy like his own. Now, we are not here to talk about the ethics of my boss. We are here to talk about Giuseppe. He was only working on performance. He was not investing any time on image, not on exposure. Also, by the way, my office was not in the European headquarters, was a bit far away. So nobody even know what I was doing. Nobody even was aware that I was working until midnight because I was so committed to the company. I didn't have much luck with my boss. No surprise that I didn't get my promotion. Okay, so I guess we have covered some key framework that can help you to understand a bit more what works in terms of influencing for career success. So thank you for this first element that was giving you some theoretical content, but let's now open it up for question. Let's listen to what is important to you, the kind of reality that you are experiencing. And again, if you agree or disagree, show a sign, let us know, make a comment, put a small emoticon to tell us what you think. Fabio, Giuseppe, you're always very inspiring. May I ask you, which is the best way to achieve exposure and to get recognition if you're young and you don't have a defined role and accountability? Yes, that's a great question, Fabio. But how we are going to make it even better? Because I had it in mind. How about if we ask the participants to give you ideas? Now, come on, in the audience, I have seen some of the names, right? We have so many bright people that I also had the pleasure to work with in the past. So what can you do to increase your exposure and image inside the company? Let's get a few ideas, and then it's going to get even more interesting, because not only you're going to get my ideas, maybe I can add a few more after we listen to the comments from the audience. I can add a few more, Fabio, but I think, let's build on the collective knowledge. That's really the power of doing this event on LinkedIn, where everyone can contribute, rather than just me having a monologue. So on the right side of the screen, you have the possibility to make a post. So what could help you to increase your exposure, to build your image inside your company? What kind of things can you do? Okay, let others speak about your work achievement, right? I think, I also had people that they will promoting each other. Says, okay, I'm going to talk positively about Jack is going to talk positively about me. Let's make sure that, if you have done something, that there is a buzz that goes inside the company that talks about what you have done. Let's see, let's listen to Lana. Work on visible projects, absolutely right. There are certain projects which gets lots of attention, and being part of those projects is a way to get visibility. Now, I worked on the SAP implementation. Now, it was not exactly my favorite in terms of content, but, it was the key priority of the management. There was the CEO and all the members of the board that were participating to the steering committee. It was a great opportunity, to get visibility in those kind of things. Let's listen to Andrea. Ask the department you want to know more about to help. Impair an extra pair of hands, right? Volunteer to work on cross-functional initiative. Let's work on some even be a social initiative that you're collecting funds for Ukraine, and then you're part of the committee that collects funds for Ukraine. That's a great way to build more visibility, to enlarge your network, and to be more visible, not exactly in terms of your result, but at least it helps you to build some more connection. Let's listen to Helen. Find a challenge that you are inspired about and ask your boss to give you the opportunity to deliver the project, right? Do not hesitate to ask your boss to give you more. Maybe he's sitting in this committee and for her is a burden. Then you say, hello, Hannah. Rather than you sitting in this monthly meeting and you always told me that you get bored, that it's not quite your favorite things, how about if I represent our function in those meetings, right? Great point. Let's listen. Nicole, reach out on LinkedIn and ask various people in companies and roles to help answer your question. Build a relationship and bring them into your story so that they can help you if they so choose. But ask specific things, not help me, right? Indeed, even when people are looking for a job search, often I get people that ask me, say, well, Giuseppe, if you hear a vacancy for an HR director, please contact me. Even if I have over 20,000 person in my network, it's very unlikely that I'm gonna hear ahead of everybody else that there is an HR director vacancy which is coming up. But if you make a more specific request, that's listen, I'm very much interested to work with Philip Morris. Will you happen to know somebody over there that you can introduce me with? That becomes a much more effective way to do things. Expand yourself, make yourself visible. Yes, thank you, Laura. Join a temporary work assignment or initiative the company offers. Fantastic. Massimiliano, organize after work social events for your department. I organized several times a ski and fondue. In Switzerland, we live close to the mountains. I organized several times to bring lots of colleagues to the mountains for a ski and fondue. We will be skiing at night, and then we will be enjoying, an evening of fondue all together. It required a bit of organization, but not that much. but it gave me the opportunity to connect with so many colleagues. And of course, I didn't do it for image and exposure. I do it because I was well into the company and I enjoyed with the company. But of course, at the end of the day, it becomes a great way to get to know so many people. And by some of them, by the way, now are my customers. Just I didn't know at the time that I will become a professor and I will be teaching negotiation and influencing, but it so happened, and that's the great. Fantastic. Now, let's look at another idea. Throw in mind attractive presentation. Market your achievement whenever you get a chance. Make it sound easy, right? Even the attention that you put to your presentation, to your report, etc. That's you may do something spectacular, but keep it for yourself, or you may find a way, to make what you're doing a bit more visible. Fantastic. Now, as we wait for the question, I want to remind you also, if you joined a bit later, maybe a key things that I want to offer to you today. I have a masterclass with Oxford professor over in Derbyshire, the 15 and 16 of June in Geneva Airport. So just in front of the airport, you arrive at the train station, you arrive at the airport, you walk, and you get to the Hilton Hotel where we are having the masterclass. To launch this event, we are having a special thing. Rather than 3,000 Swiss francs, 1,800, 40% off, only until the end of March. So you will find the link for the masterclass, and make sure that you are able to use your persuasion skill with your management so that you get approval, and we will be able to spend 2 days with exercises, role plays, personal feedback, great networking with other executives. And from the past experience, the quality of the people that we have, we had the masterclass last year, they became friends. Also because we have a 2 years program where there are other opportunities to continue to learn. So do take this opportunity, and it costs like a normal training, and you get 2 professors for 2 full days for you. Okay, and by the way, with Owen, we are also doing a LinkedIn Live event next Friday. Next Friday at 1 o'clock, Psychology of Influence and Persuasion. That's something that you can get. Fantastic. Now, enough about future events. Is there any last question? Is there something that you want to know? I am there for you. It's true that we are very much at the end of the maximum time allowed, but if there is one last question, I am there for you. If you think that we cover what we wanted, then I think that you can call it a day. Maybe before you go, quickly click on the link for the Psychology of Influence and Persuasion LinkedIn Live next Friday at 1 o'clock Central European Time. And I look forward to reconnect with you soon for some more learning, for more opportunities to sharpen your influence skills and make you more successful at work. Thank you very much for your active participation, for providing all those beautiful ideas to Fabio that confirms that there is a power in getting with other people, and let's stay connected. And I'm there. I have a new article on a regular basis, new videos, sharing contents from other people. Let's make sure that you get this learning opportunity. And if negotiation and influencing is one of the things that is going to help you to be successful. Thank you very much, and look forward to reconnect with you soon. All the very best. Take care. Bye-bye.